my channel is Made by Cath. Thank you very much for joining me for my latest episode of my midweek sewing chat series. It's really nice to be back on for another week, sharing what I've been up to over the last few days on the sewing and knitting front. And in this video, as ever, I've got a bit of a mix to share. I've got a couple of new fabrics that arrived this week, and I'm looking forward to talking about my plans for them. I've also got a new make that I sewed up this week that I've got to share, and I've got a bit of knitting that I'm going to include at the end as well. So as ever, a little bit of mix in this week's video, but before I get started on that, I wanted to say a quick thank you to everybody who took the time to comment on my last week's midweek chat episode. I really appreciated all of your lovely, thoughtful, kind comments. They were so lovely to receive, so thank you very much. It was really much appreciated. And also, before I get started on this video, I also wanted to mention this is going to be my last midweek sewing chat video that I film for a few weeks. The reason being is because from tomorrow I'm going to be taking part in Vlogmas on YouTube, which I'm really excited about. I love Christmas, and last year was my first time taking part in Vlogmas and I really enjoyed it. I found it so Christmassy and fun. So yeah, it's going to be starting from tomorrow, and if you're not familiar with Vlogmas, then basically I and a load of other YouTube vloggers will be posting every day in the run up to Christmas. So from the 1st of December up until the 24th of December, I'll be posting a video every day. And those videos are a real mixed bag, but they're generally a lot of fun to film, I find, and hopefully they're a lot of fun to watch. They'll include a lot of sewing content, so my sewing projects I'm working on, any new fabric arrivals, new patterns. I've also got a couple of Christmassy makes to share too. There'll be some knitting content too, sort of the knitting projects I'm planning on working on in the run up to Christmas. And then also lots of Christmassy content and a bit of life too. So yeah, a real mix, and hopefully also our resident elf will be back. If you watched my Vlogmas last year, you'll know we have a cute little Christmas elf who appears on the 1st of December every year. And he generally gets up to lots of hijinks in the night. So every morning when my children wake up, he's done something a little bit cheeky around the house, and they really look forward to seeing what he's been up to. And I shared every day in my Vlogmas last year what he'd been up to, and I'm sure he's got some more cheeky plans for this year, so I'll be sharing all about his antics too. So Vlogmas is going to be a lot of fun, I think, so I'll be on from tomorrow every day. So I'd love it if you would join me tomorrow and follow on through December up until Christmas. It'll be really nice to have you along with my Vlogmas journey again this year. So that's why I'll be taking a little bit of a break from filming my midweek chat series, because I'll be taking part in Vlogmas. But my Vlogmas episodes will definitely have lots of crafty content in them too, so please do watch them. I hope you'll enjoy them, and I'll be back with more midweek chat episodes once Christmas is finished. But anyway, I'll now move on to this episode and talking about, first of all, what I'm wearing today. And today I decided to pop a pair of jeans on, but wear a bit of a different top because I've been wearing quite a lot of sweatshirts. It's easy to get into that sort of mum uniform. But I thought I'd put on this top instead, and it's a woven top that I made using this pattern here, which is the cuff top pattern by the Assembly line, which is a pattern I really like. I've made a few versions of it. So it's quite a boxy, straight fit woven top with a boat neckline and then these oversized cuff details. They're elasticated cuffs, and I guess that's the kind of main feature of the top and why it's called the cuff top. It's also got this seam at the front and the back, so you cut sort of two pieces to the front and two pieces to the back. You can kind of make a little bit of a feature of that seam, either by kind of colour blocking with two different fabrics or choosing some fun top stitching thread to kind of show that seam detail off. And it sews up really nicely, this top, and it's really nice and comfy to wear too. So the cuff top is available in two size range, so it takes it from an extra small up to a 4XL, and the largest size is designed for a bust of 63 inches. So it's got a really good size range on it, this pattern. And I've always made the extra small, and the pattern that I've got printed out has all measurements in centimetres, so I had to translate it into inches because when it comes to body measurements, centimetres don't really mean much to me. But in terms of inches, the size extra small is designed for a bust of 32 inches, waist of 25.6 inches and hips of 36.4 inches, which is pretty much bang on my measurements. And I really like the fit of it. It's not too fitted. I can just pull it on over my head. It's got quite a nice relaxed fit. I'll stand up it so you can see, but not super oversized. And I made my version I'm wearing today in this really pretty fabric, which is a cotton lawn by Lady McElroy, and I was kindly gifted this fabric by Minerva in exchange for a post on their website, so I'll link that post and this fabric down below because I think it is still in stock. I really like Lady McElroy cotton lawn fabrics. I've sewn with them a few times and I think they're really nice quality. And I really like the print on this one. It's got this sort of black base and then these sort of bouquets of flowers in really pretty colours. And I quite like, because it's got the black base, I think this top will work quite well on its own with the floral design in summer. But also I think it's great for winter because of the black base. It works quite well layered over a black top, which is how I've worn it today. Yeah, I think it works quite well and just adds a bit of pop of colour to a winter outfit. Because I think in winter it's quite easy to choose the dark colours to wear. So I like that this has got a bit of splash of colour on it. And I had a bit of fun with the top stitching as well actually on this one. I added on orange top stitching. I'll stand up a bit so you can see. And so I think I made the straight size extra small, but I made a couple of adjustments to the neckline of this top because when I'd read about the cuff top originally before I made my first version, a lot of people said the neckline, the boat neckline, came out really wide and it was worth considering bringing it in slightly so you could cover your bra straps up. So you can see in my version now, I've got the top peeping out underneath, but if I wear it without a top peeping out, my bra straps are just about hidden because I brought the neckline in at the sides. And I also dipped it down slightly at the front because when I looked at a lot of pictures of other people wearing it, it looked like it came out really high and I didn't really want that. So I just dipped it down, I think, by about 1.5 centimetres at the front too. And in terms of the adjustment to bring in the sides and just reduce the width of the boat neckline, I actually did a YouTube tutorial talking all about how I adjusted the pattern pieces. So I'll link that tutorial down below in case you fancy checking it out. I go through how to adjust the main pattern pieces and also you have to adjust the facing. This top's finished with a facing on the inside, you have to adjust those pieces too. So I talk through exactly how I went about bringing in the sides of this top. But it's a really nice one to wear. I like the oversized cuffs. I think they're a really nice feature and make this top a little bit different. And I'll put a picture of me wearing it so you can see what it looks like on. I'd really recommend this pattern. I think it's really versatile. I like that you can layer it up in winter because there's enough space in it to do that. Or just wear it as a nice top with a pair of shorts or a skirt in summer too. So that's my cuff top by the assembly line that I'm wearing today. So that's what I'm wearing today, but I'll move on now to sharing all of the things I wanted to talk about in this video. And the first one is my new fabrics that arrived this week. And my first new fabric arrival is quite a big delivery from Pound Fabrics of some fabrics for my son. And I've been talking in the last few videos about how it's hard to find prints he likes, but I do love making clothes for him. So I often make sort of plain joggers for him, which are quite easy to do. But when it comes to more fun prints, it is really hard to find things he likes. But he loves these Where's Wally fabrics that Minerva had in stock for quite a while. And they've just gone out of stock, and a couple of people have mentioned to me that Pound Fabrics were also selling the Where's Wally fabrics, a really good price actually. So I rushed over to the Pound Fabrics website and bought 3 meters of 3 different fabrics that he liked the look of. Pretty much the ones that are in stock. I bought 3 meters of each to give me plenty to make in the future. And I figure even if he goes off Where's Wally, I wouldn't mind actually a pair of pyjamas in a Where's Wally print. And I don't think my husband would probably say no to them either. So I'm sure these fabrics will get used. So they arrived this week and I'm really pleased with them all. So here they are, my stack of Where's Wally cotton jersey fabrics that are going to be made into t-shirts and pyjamas for my son for as long as he wants. So yeah, I've got the same prints in 2 different colours. This blue print with the space and Where's Wally print on, and then the black which has the same print on with lots of rockets and Where's Wally, and Wally's on there somewhere as well as all the other characters. So those 2 ones, and they're really nice cotton jerseys. Actually they're really nice quality. I found they've washed really well because I made a few things him before, nice and soft and cozy. So I've got those 2 prints, and then a new print which is this sea print here, which is quite cool and a bit different. It's got lots of sort of Viking boats on and things. So it's quite a lot of fun. I love looking at all the different interesting details on these fabrics. And this one is looking a bit smaller than the other 2 because I've already cut out another pair of winter pyjamas because my son wanted me to make him a second pair of winter pyjamas. So he's got 2 Where's Wally pairs. He can kind of wear one when one's in the wash. So yeah, he wanted it in this print here, which is a new one for him. I think he thought it looked quite sort of almost like snow almost. So he thought it looked quite a Christmassy or wintry print. So that is what I'm busy with at the moment for him. So I'm really pleased those fabrics arrived. Yeah, because he doesn't show any sign of losing interest in Where's Wally. So that's really good. That's those fabrics that arrived for him. And then I had one other new fabric arrive this week. And this one is one for me. So I'm planning on turning this into a garment for me to wear. So that's always quite exciting. And I've been waiting for this one to arrive for a while actually. So I was really happy when the postman turned up at the weekend with this on the doorstep. And the reason it's taken a while for this one to arrive is it's one that I've been gifted by Minerva in exchange for a blog post. So I'll be writing a blog post once I've sewn up the fabric, showing all the details of my make, and I'll link that down below when it's available. But when I actually ordered it from Minerva, this colourway wasn't available at that point. It was only available to pre-order, so I had to wait for it to come back in stock before it could be shipped out to me. And then I received a notification it had been shipped out to me, but it took quite a long time to actually arrive because we've had postal strikes here in the UK, so all of the post has been taking longer than usual. So I wasn't in a particular rush to sew this one up, but I just was really excited when it did arrive, and I can't wait now to get it in the pre-wash and start cutting it out. I haven't pre-washed it or anything yet, so I've got to share with you all nice and new straight out of the little postal bag it arrived in. So this is the fabric here. It is a cotton rib knit fabric, so it's got a lovely stretch to it. I think it's 90% cotton and 10% lycra, so it's got quite a firm, nice stretch to it, and it feels like it's got a really good recovery too. And yeah, it's really cute sort of wide rib fabric, which is something I haven't sewn with before, and I think it's got a really nice texture to it with the wide rib. In this lovely sort of marley grey colour. So this fabric comes in quite a few colourways, but I really like the marley grey colour. I thought it'd be a lovely colour for a winter basic, which is what I'm planning to make. So I'm really happy with it, and I think I've got somewhere between 1 metre and 1.5 metres. And I know what I want to make with this fabric, which is a top from this book here, the Stretch Book by Tilling the Buttons, and it's one of my favourite top patterns for winter. And actually I haven't made any of this pattern this year at all, so it'll be nice to get the pattern pieced out again. It is like an old friend, this one, because I've made quite a few versions. And it's the Freya top. You'll probably have guessed that already if you've watched my channel for a while. You know I love this top. So this is the Freya top here. You can also make it as a dress too. It's a really nice, simple, basic top that's got, it's quite designed to be quite tight fitting. You can make it either with a long sleeve or a sort of elbow length sleeve, and it's got this mock roll neck neckline, which I find quite nice because it's not too tight and restrictive, but it's nice and cosy for winter. And like I said, you can also make it as a really cute dress with this A-line skirt added. But I'm planning on making just this basic version here with long sleeves to my rib fabric, so I think it'll be great to layer up and just to wear as well with a pair of blue jeans. I think it'll work really well too, just as a real nice basic item. So I'm really looking forward to cutting into this fabric. Like I said, I need to get it in the pre-wash first, and then it'll be a nice simple quick sew. I find the Freya top sews up really nice and quickly because you don't have to worry about getting the neckband to lie flat because it's a stand-up neckband, so that goes in really nicely, and then it's just a nice quick sew. And I generally make the size 2, which is my measurement for bust and waist. I think the size 2 hips is maybe an inch smaller than my measurement, but I've never bothered grading out, and this fabric's got plenty of stretch in, so I don't think I need to widen it at the hips. And then I always lengthen the sleeves and the body, just because I like having nice long cosy sleeves, and I've got a bit of a long torso. So yeah, I'm looking forward to sewing that up into a Freya top, and yeah, hopefully it should be nice and cosy because it's quite nice, fairly substantial knit fabric. It's not super thick, but it's definitely on the cosier side, and I just really like that kind of rib texture it has. So yeah, I'm looking forward to sewing that one up, and I'll share with you, I guess during Vlogmas probably, I'll be sharing the finished garment because it should be quite a quick, simple make. Oh, and I'll link that rib knit fabric down below just in case you fancy checking it out and seeing all the colourways it's available in. There's quite a few tempting colours there. And I'll also link the 3 Where's Wally fabrics I got from Pound Fabrics too, because I think they're all 3 are still available at Pound Fabrics for a really good price actually. So I'll link those all, as well as all the patterns I've mentioned in this video so far too. So those are my new fabrics, and now I've got a new make to share with you in this video. And this is another scrap buster make. Like I've mentioned in recent videos, I've been going through my fabric remnant suitcase and pulling out the larger fabric remnants, and it's been quite a lot of fun trying to figure out what I can squeeze out of those fabric remnants and making some new things out of some fabrics I already have. So this week I took another fabric out of the suitcase. This is one I'd had my eye on for a while and wanted to do something with, and it was really nice to sew it up. And it's this really, really cute fleece back sweatshirting fabric that is an Atelier Brunette fabric. It's quite an old one. I got originally this fabric when I was quite new to sewing, and I turned this fabric into a paper cut pattern solar sweatshirt. I'll try and find a picture of me wearing that sweatshirt and pop it up here so you can see what the original garment looks like. And I still wear that garment a lot. It's still a favourite of mine that I reach for a lot. And when I had a look through my remnant suitcase, I found I had a decent amount left of this to be able to turn it into some sort of top or other. I didn't have enough to turn it into another sort of full-on sweatshirt, which I guess would work well for a kind of fleece back cosy sweatshirting fabric, but I really wanted to use it because it's such pretty fabric. You can see it's got this, it's either a black or a very, very, very dark navy blue base. I'm not sure. Looking at up against this, I think it might be a dark navy blue looking at it against this black colour on my top. And it's got this really cute little gold flecks all over it. So I had a look at the fabric remnant to figure out what I could squeeze out of it, and like I mentioned before, there wasn't quite enough to make another jumper, but I still wanted to make something quite nice and cosy that I'd be able to wear in winter, because it is a fleecy back fabric, so that's really, I guess, the kind of weather it's suited for. And I figured out I had just enough fabric to squeeze out a little layering piece, sort of cropped top. So here is my little top I managed to squeeze out of the leftover fabric. So I basically made a little cropped t-shirt top with this funnel neck, and I think it'll be a really nice layering piece for winter. For example, I can see myself wearing it over a black long sleeve top like I've got on today, a bit like I've layered this cuff top over, and they're just paired with a pair of jeans. But I think it would be also quite cute layered over a long sleeve top with a skirt too, because it's got quite a crop look to it, so it'd sort of just finish around where a skirt would start, so I think that would be quite nice as well. And I made this top using this pattern here, which is the Nina South Bank sweater and dress pattern, which is a pattern I really love. You can either make it as this sort of cosy sweater knit dress, or a kind of classic sort of polo neck top that comes down to your hip, or this cropped version here, and they all have this funnel neck on it. And I really like the idea of funnel neck in this fabric, so I thought it would make it a bit more cozy and wintry feeling. So I basically borrowed this version here and just cropped off the sleeves to turn it into short sleeves. So it's quite a simple hack of the pattern to make this little layering piece, and it came together really nice and quickly. The South Bank sweater is a bit like the Freya top in terms of the neckline, because it's a stand-up neck, so you don't have to worry about getting the neckband to lie flat, so it goes in really nicely, and the rest of it is just quite a nice simple quick sew. So I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I haven't got a picture of me wearing this yet, but I'm hoping to go and get a couple of pictures after I finish filming this video, so all being well, I'll pop up a picture of what it looks like on. In terms of sizing, I made the size 8 in this pattern, which is the size I always go for. That is designed for bust 34 inches and waist 26 inches, so my waist but a couple of inches larger on the bust, but I find generally with Nina Lee patterns they do come up on the fitted side, and I always like to wear these as a layering piece, so having a bit more room around the bust is quite a nice thing, I think. It doesn't still feel particularly oversized when I wear this one anyway, so yeah, I've never bothered grading between the sizes. I've just gone for a straight size 8 on the South Bank sweater, but I'm really pleased I managed to squeeze out this cute little top from this Remnant, because it's such a pretty fabric. It seems a shame for it just to be again sitting in my suitcase not being used, and I think this garment's quite different from the Solar sweater that I made originally, so I think if I wear both, even if I wore them one day after the next, it would feel like quite a different outfit. So I'm glad I've managed to sort of make two quite different garments out of the same fabric. So yeah, that was my make this week. And then when I was rummaging in my fabric remnant suitcase, I came across one more fabric remnant that I have quite a decent sized remnant of, and I'm not quite sure what to do with this one. A few of the fabrics, when I pulled them out, like this one here, I had a bit of an idea in my head of what I might like to try and squeeze out of them, or what direction I might like to take in terms of what pattern I'd choose. But with this fabric that I've got here to share, I haven't really got a clue of what to make with it, to be honest. So I'd really love some ideas. If anyone had any good ideas, that would be really, really appreciated. It's quite a decent sized remnant. It's really nice fabric, so I'd love to turn it into something nice. So this fabric is a jacquard knit fabric by Minerva Fabrics, and it's a really, really pretty one. I'll hold it up so you can see all the detail in the fabric. So it's quite nice and stretchy. It's a bit more substantial than a cotton jersey, but maybe not quite as thick as a fleece back sweatshirting fabric. Somewhere in between. It's got a good stretch to it. And it's got this really pretty, almost embossed sort of leaf style print on it in this navy blue colour. So I really love this fabric. It's a really nice quality fabric. And I originally used it to make a Astoria top by Seamwork, although it ended up being quite an altered version of the Astoria top because I wasn't quite keen on that pattern on me. So I'll put a picture up of my original make in this fabric. But I've ended up with loads of it left. I measured this piece and it's, let me just, what did I write that down? It's 1 metre wide by 1.5 metres long. I think I've got such a decent piece because Minerva Fabrics often make their fabrics extra wide. So I think this fabric might originally have been 1.75 metres or 1.8 metres wide. And I think I might have ordered 1.5 metres in length of it. So I didn't end up needing that much for the top. I probably could have just got away with ordering maybe 1 metre for my Astoria top. So I totally over-ordered on it by accident. So yeah, I've got quite a decent piece of this left. So definitely enough to make some sort of top, I think. But I'm just not sure what to make. So if you have any ideas, I just love some ideas really. It's such a pretty fabric. It would be nice again to turn it into something rather than having it sitting in my remnant suitcase. And I really like the navy colour too. So I think definitely, I guess it'll be good for something wintry because it is fairly substantial fabric. It's not so lightweight. But yeah, any ideas of patterns, I would really love that. So yeah, thank you very much in advance for your ideas. Oh, and I thought I'd mention in terms of these fabric remnants, this fabric, the jacquard Knit Mind the Maker fabric, is still available online, so I'll link it down below. It comes in a load of colourways still, this one. It is really nice quality fabric. But the Atelier Brunette fleece back sweatshirt, and I don't think that's available anymore, is a really old one of theirs. I think they've more recently released a couple of new fleece back sweatshirt prints, which are really lovely too, but this particular print I don't think is available to buy anywhere online, but I'll link the jacquard fabric in case you fancy checking that one out. So that was everything that I've got to share in this video on the sewing front, but like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I also wanted to update you on my latest knitting projects. I've done a little bit more on that this week. And if you watched my last week's midweek chat video, you'll know that I've been trying to do a bit of scrap busting on the yarn front as well as on the fabric front, because I've got quite a lot of sort of half balls of double knit yarn in my knitting stash that I was quite wanting to put to use really. And so I downloaded a pattern for a really cool knitted patchwork blanket where you basically knit up little squares and then sew them all together to make a big blanket. So it's quite good for using small amounts of yarn to knit up the small squares before you then put it all together. And it's quite a cool pattern for the blanket because there's lots of different stitches for different squares, so I think it'll end up being a really pretty textured, cosy knitted blanket. So I'm just right at the beginning of starting this project. I think it's going to be quite a long-term project because the knitting needles required are quite fine knitting needles, so quite small stitches. It'll be slow going, and I think I'll just pick it up and put it down and not sort of rush it. But I made my first square this week, which was a lot of fun, and here is my first square. And I knit this up in star stitch, so you can see the little sort of almost stars on the knitting, which is a lot of fun, but quite a fiddly stitch. And I used a kind of a sort of beige colour and a creamy colour for my first patchwork square. I'm kind of at the moment just testing them out and seeing how big they are because I need them all to be 5 inches. So I'm going to try knitting the different stitches up and the different squares and seeing if they do end up similar sizes or whether I need to maybe alter any of them just to make sure they all do end up fairly similar to make it easy when I do come to sewing them all up at the end. So yeah, this was my first square I knitted up. And so yeah, I had a lot of fun knitting up, but what I was finding was the knitting needles I was using, which are these 3¼ knitting needles, weren't that sharp. They're quite old ones I've had for ages, and I was finding with a fiddly stitch like this star stitch, it was quite hard to kind of catch the stitches. So I decided to order myself a new pair of knitting needles because I'm going to be using these knitting needles a lot for this project. So I ordered myself these ones here, and I'm really pleased with them. It's a little treat when they arrive through the door. They are Knit Pro Zing needles, and I've used these before in different sizes, and what I like about them is their tips are really quite nice and sharp. So they're perfect for picking up fiddly stitches and catching them, and not too frustrating when you kind of keep going for them and can't quite get them. So, and they're cute too, I think, in this turquoise colour. So they're my new knitting toy, these new knitting needles. I ordered quite short ones because I'm just going to be knitting up these small little squares. They don't need to be very long. So yeah, that's how I've got on so far on my knitted blanket. So it's definitely going to be slow going, but I've got lots more stitches to try out. I had knitted some star stitch before. This cushion behind me actually is in star stitch. So it's a stitch I was a little bit familiar with, but there's definitely some stitches on some of the other squares that I'm not at all familiar with. So I'm really looking forward to giving them a go too. And I'll share more as I go along, making more of my little squares for my knitted blankets. Oh, and I'll link the knitting needles below in case you fancy checking them out, and also I'll link the patchwork pattern in case you fancy having a look at that too. I just found it on Etsy. I had a little browse on there and I like to look at that one. So yeah, we'll see how I go. Hopefully it'll be a lot of fun and a nice sort of knitting project for me to just work at slowly over time. So that is everything that I've got to share in today's video. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you again tomorrow for my first day of Vlogmas. I'm really excited to get started on my Vlogmas journey this year, and I'd love to have you along. So please do join me tomorrow. There'll be lots of sewing and knitting content as I go through the month of December. So yeah, I'd love it if you'd join me. Hopefully the first episode should be out tomorrow evening, so do keep your eyes peeled for it. So thank you again for watching this video. Please do give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. So yeah, have a great day, and I will see you again tomorrow for Vlogmas. Bye!